They watch you. They whisper your name when you leave the room. They analyze your tone, your posture, your silence. But they never see the calculation behind your eyes, because you are not like them. You don't react. You observe. You don't beg to be liked. You learn to be feared. Every move you make is intentional. Every pause is power. Every smile is strategy. While they waste energy trying to prove their worth, you study their insecurities and turn them into leverage. That's how domination begins, not through noise, but through awareness. Control the narrative inside their mind, and you own the outcome before the game even starts. Remember this phrase and write it in the comments below. My silence is my weapon. My mind is my throne. Every encounter is a silent war, not for land, not for money, for control. The weak think dominance is about shouting louder or standing taller. But the truth, power doesn't reveal itself. It manipulates the unseen currents of perception. When you walk into a room, the game begins long before you speak. Every gesture you make, every second of eye contact, every pause between your words, it's all ammunition. People crave certainty. They look for cues, for someone who seems to know what they're doing. That's your weapon. Project calm when they expect chaos. Speak less when they expect flattery. Your restraint will haunt them more than any insult could, because the one who controls his reactions controls the room. You must learn to read people as if their faces are open books. Watch how their pupils shrink when they lie, how their tone changes when they feel inferior, how their hands betray the confidence their words pretend to have. Most minds are predictable, patterns wrapped in flesh. Expose their pattern, and you expose their weakness. But domination is not cruelty. It's strategy. You don't crush everyone. You select your targets. You decide who is worth bending and who is better used willingly. Sometimes mercy is the sharpest manipulation, because gratitude can enslave deeper than fear. Your goal is not to prove your power. It's to become the reference point of it, to make people adjust themselves around your presence. That's true command, when your silence dictates their behavior. When they speak, you listen as if decoding intelligence. When they move, you measure angles and motives. Every smile hides intent. Every compliment hides fear. The world is a chessboard of fragile egos, and your mind is the hand that moves every piece. Understand this. Those who dominate minds don't fight for attention. They create gravity. People orbit around their energy, drawn by an invisible pull they can't explain. They call it charisma. You know it's calculation. So next time you meet someone, don't just greet them. Assess them. Decide whether they're an ally, a pawn, or a threat. Your awareness must be surgical, your demeanor unshakable, your will undeniable. Because in this battlefield of minds, you're not here to compete. You're here to rule. Comment this and make it echo through your blood. I control the room because I control myself. Control begins where emotion ends. The man who cannot master his emotions will always be mastered by others. People will provoke you, insult you, bait you, not because they're powerful, but because they want your reaction, and every reaction you give is a confession of weakness. Understand this. The human mind is addicted to validation. They crave acknowledgement like a drug. They post, they talk, they argue, just to feel seen. But you operate above that. You are the observer, not the participant. You don't chase validation. You weaponize it. When someone attacks you, let them. Watch them drown in their own emotion while you remain still. Their anger exposes their insecurity. Their arrogance exposes their fear. Your calmness, it's psychological warfare, because the more composed you stay, the more unstable they become. And soon, they start questioning themselves, wondering why you aren't reacting. That's when dominance begins, when they lose control trying to break yours. Machiavelli said it best, the one who can command himself can command the world. Your silence must be heavier than their words. Your restraint must feel like intimidation. You must learn to sit in stillness while others self-destruct. It's not emotionless, it's strategic indifference. Train yourself to detach from outcome, to watch chaos unfold and see opportunity in it. Because those who remain calm in storms aren't lucky, they're prepared. And in that preparation lies fear. Not fear for you, but fear of you. When you control your emotions, you control how others feel around you. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds power, because no one can manipulate a man who doesn't react. So when they expect rage, give them silence. When they expect fear, give them composure. When they expect apology, give them the cold truth. That's how kings think. That's how leaders rise. Write this in the comments and make it a declaration. My emotions serve me. I belong to no one's control. Power isn't taken, it's positioned. Before you dominate a mind, you must position yourself where domination is effortless. The greatest power is not in force, it's in presence. Every interaction is a stage. Most people rush to speak, eager to prove worth. You, stay still. Let silence do the talking. The longer they fill the air, the more they reveal. Words are confessions, reactions are maps. The more they speak, the more you see. Machiavelli understood this. Power thrives on perception, not truth. You don't need to be stronger, richer, or smarter. You only need to appear so. Because in the psychology of power, appearance becomes reality. The one who controls how others see him controls how they treat him. Position yourself as the calm center of chaos. When others panic, observe. When others doubt, decide. When others seek comfort, stand alone. People will begin to orbit you, not because you demand loyalty, but because your presence radiates authority. Never enter a room as if you belong to it. Enter as if the room belongs to you, not through arrogance, but through silent conviction. You don't need to convince anyone. You need only to exist in a way that commands attention. That's psychological positioning, subtle, invisible, unstoppable. You dictate the rhythm without speaking. You lead without announcing. You dominate without lifting a finger. Every relationship, every meeting, every glance is a negotiation of power. Never kneel in tone, never beg in body language. Stand with stillness. Let people sense that their approval means nothing to you. Because when a man no longer seeks approval, he becomes the authority they instinctively obey. And remember, in this game, power doesn't chase, it attracts. It draws minds like gravity, and once they enter your orbit, they can't escape. Comment this and make it your commandment. I don't chase power. I position myself, and power finds me. Emotions are the levers of the human mind. The masses are controlled by what they feel, not by what they know. They crave validation, fear rejection, and drown in the illusion of importance. To dominate minds, you must rise above that chaos, not to reject emotion, but to control it and use it as your weapon. Understand this. Every person walks around with invisible strings attached to their heart, strings of ego, fear, guilt, and desire. Your task is to learn which one to pull and when. Because the man who understands emotion doesn't need strength. He simply directs the flow of others' feelings toward his will. When someone is proud, feed their pride. When someone is insecure, offer comfort, then control. When someone feels unseen, make them feel chosen, and they'll move mountains for your approval. That's not cruelty, it's precision. You are not manipulating them. You're mastering the laws of human nature that rule them anyway. Machiavelli taught that men are led by two things, hope and fear. Control these two, and you control the man. Give them hope when you need their loyalty. Instill fear when you need their obedience. Alternate between both, and they'll never know whether to worship or dread you. That tension keeps you untouchable. But remember, the first rule of emotional leverage is never expose your own. Once people can read your emotions, they can predict you. Once they can predict you, they can control you. So wear your emotions like armor. beautiful from the outside, impenetrable from within, smile when necessary, frown when strategic, but inside, stay untouchable. When you master emotional leverage, you stop reacting to people and start programming them. Your words plant seeds, your silence waters them. Soon, they start thinking thoughts you designed. They call it chemistry. You know it's control, so learn to feel without being moved, to care without attachment, to connect without surrender. That's the art of kings, the weapon of conquerors, the code of those who rule minds instead of serving them. Now write this in the comments. Let it mark your transformation. I command emotions. Emotions do not command me. Power fades the moment people think they've figured you out. Predictability is the death of dominance. Once they can read your rhythm, they will plan against you, and the game ends before it begins. So what do? You become unreadable. You turn your mind into fog, visible yet untouchable. People should never be certain whether you're angry, calm, or amused. Your silence should make them question what you're thinking, and your words should make them question what you mean. Mystery is magnetic. It draws attention without effort because humans fear what they can't define. The more unpredictable you are, the more they obsess over understanding you. And obsession is control disguised as curiosity. When they expect warmth, give them distance. When they expect softness, give them steel. When they expect nothing, strike with precision. Let no one predict your next move. Even loyalty becomes stronger when they fear losing your favor. But don't mistake mystery for confusion. Confusion is chaos. Mystery is control through selective revelation. You show them enough to keep them engaged, but never enough to be understood. Your goal is not to be known. It's to be felt. A presence that lingers in the mind, even when you're gone. Remember, clarity is comfort, and comfort kills influence. The man who cannot be anticipated forces others to play by his tempo. He makes them adapt, adjust, overthink. And every time they try to decode you, they hand you more power. Even kings and rulers in history used unpredictability as a shield. Machiavelli himself warned, "A ruler must be both lion and fox, too gentle and they test you, too fierce and they unite against you." The balance is in confusion. Keep them guessing which version of you they're dealing with today. You must become an enigma wrapped in calm. Let your face reveal nothing. Let your plans unfold like smoke, shifting, untouchable, inevitable. Because when no one can predict your next move, they stop trying to control you. They start reacting to you. That's when you've won the psychological war. Comment this and make it your personal code. My unpredictability is my power. My mystery is my armor. True intimidation isn't loud. It doesn't need raised voices or empty threats. It's silent, surgical, executed through presence. You don't need to say you're dangerous, they just need to feel it. People are instinctive animals. They sense hierarchy long before words are spoken. Your stillness must project authority. Your gaze must hold weight. Your tone must carry the kind of calm that only power can afford. When you speak, every syllable should sound like a decision. When you pause, the air should tighten around your silence. Psychological intimidation is not about making others fear you. It's about making them respect their limits in your presence. Your power should not beg to be acknowledged. It should command attention naturally, like a blade left unsheathed on the table. No threat spoken, yet no one forgets it's there. Machiavelli understood this. It's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the modern man misinterprets fear. Fear is not about cruelty, it's about certainty. People should fear disappointing you, fear underestimating you, fear losing your favor. That fear anchors your control deeper than any command could. Your discipline is your dominance. When they see you unfazed by chaos, they feel smaller. When they realize insults don't reach you, they feel powerless. That quiet psychological pressure bends their behavior without a word. Every empire, Every leader, every manipulator who ever ruled understood this truth. The mind is more easily conquered through awe than aggression. When people can't predict your reaction, they hesitate, and hesitation is surrender. Be the calm storm. Be the man who walks into a room and every voice dims, not because you demanded it, but because your energy shifted the hierarchy without permission. Your presence must be both a promise and a warning. A promise of control, a warning of consequence. That's the kind of power that never fades. It engraves itself in memory. Now write this in the comments and let it become your mark. My silence is power. My presence is command. Influence is not persuasion. Persuasion is begging with better words. Influence is control disguised as suggestion. It bends people's choices without them realizing they never had one. You don't convince people, you direct them. You make them think your ideas are their own. That's the highest level of psychological warfare, because when a man believes he chose freely, he never resists. You act without begging for the world's permission. That is the mind of a ruler. Calm, silent, inevitable. Now, comment this to carve it into your mindset. I feel nothing I cannot control. I am detached, and therefore I am free. Every kind of power casts a shadow. The moment you rise, you create envy, resistance, and quiet hatred. People admire control until they realize it's over them. Then their respect turns into resentment. Accept it. It's not failure. It's proof that your dominance is real. The weak will always paint strength as cruelty. They call your discipline arrogance. They call your confidence ego. They need to label what they can't match. Don't defend yourself. Observe them. They're revealing their fear. Machiavelli warned, "The strong must wear armor, not for the sword, but for the whispers." The higher you ascend, the more delicate your silence must become. Never react to envy. Let it rot them quietly. Never explain your moves. Mystery keeps you untouchable. Never apologize for being powerful. Humility is wasted on the blind. But don't mistake your shadow for evil. Every light creates darkness. That's nature's law. When your strength intimidates the weak, it doesn't mean you're cruel. It means they've forgotten how small they've allowed themselves to become. You simply remind them of what they could never become without sacrifice. Power is isolation, disguised as freedom. You'll lose crowds, but gain clarity. You'll lose comfort, but gain command. It's the price every ruler pays, the loneliness of being the one who sees further. While others seek comfort, you seek control. While they beg to belong, you build the throne they'll kneel before. Don't fear your shadow, study it. Understand that your presence will always create friction in fragile minds. That's not a flaw. It's the signal of authority. If they hate you, it means you matter. If they fear you, it means you've already won. So walk with quiet certainty. Let your silence echo louder than their noise. Let your existence be the threat they can't name. Because power isn't about destroying others. It's about standing so tall that they can't help but feel small beside you. Comment this to seal your mindset. I embrace my shadow. My power needs no approval untouchable. The word itself carries a weight most men will never earn. To be untouchable means to transcend fear, emotion, and manipulation. It means nothing external, no insult, no betrayal, no loss can pierce your composure. You don't bend, you don't react, you decide. Understand this. The world belongs to the man who cannot be emotionally moved, the one who can stand in a storm and remain still, the one who can hear 1,000 opinions and remain certain, the one who can lose everything and still walk forward without hesitation. That man is untouchable because he rules himself first. To reach that level, you must conquer 3 empires: the mind, the emotion, and the image. The mind. Your mind must become your fortress. Discipline your thoughts, filter your reactions. Every emotion that rises, inspect it before it escapes. Detach from illusion, from distraction, from comfort. Think like a strategist, not a dreamer. Your mind should never be ruled by what's happening. It should be ruled by what's necessary. The emotion. You don't destroy emotion, you command it. Anger is your fire. Aim it. Fear is your alarm. Study it. Love is your connection. Control it. The weak drown in emotion. The strong use it to move mountains. Your calmness should be terrifying, because when a man feels deeply but shows nothing, his silence becomes a riddle, and his restraint becomes fear. The image. You must craft perception like an artist paints war. Your presence should announce power before you speak. Walk as if the ground itself recognizes your authority. No panic, no rush, no need to prove. Power doesn't chase attention, it draws it. Your silence must feel heavier than their noise. Your eyes should communicate one truth. I am in control, always. Becoming untouchable is not about arrogance, it's about mastery. It's about knowing that chaos bends around the man who refuses to kneel. While others crave validation, you crave victory. While they react, you calculate. While they feel, you decide. And when they realize they cannot move you, cannot provoke you, cannot make you bleed emotionally, they submit. Because power belongs not to the strongest, but to the most unmoved. This is your final transformation, to be calm under fire, to be composed in betrayal, to be unshaken in defeat. You don't rise above men, you rise above yourself. That is the true throne. Now write this below and claim your crown. I am untouchable. My silence is power. My mind is my kingdom. And remember, this is Mind of Machiavelli, where the weak come to learn and the strong come to reign. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is where power is not spoken about, it's reborn. To master influence, you must understand the architecture of belief. Every human mind has doors. Fear opens one, desire opens another. The key is knowing which door to knock. You don't talk to people, you talk to their wants, their pride, their insecurity, their hunger for recognition. These are the strings that guide their decisions. Pull gently and they'll follow with loyalty. Influence starts with observation. Listen more than you speak. When they talk, they reveal their blueprint. What they love, what they fear, what they crave to protect. Once you know that, you hold the map to their behavior. Then every word you say becomes a calculated trigger. Subtle influence is art. You mirror their tone. You use their language. You give them small victories so they trust you, then lead them exactly where you want them to go. They'll call you charismatic, inspiring, persuasive. But deep down, you know what you're doing. You're crafting obedience with elegance. Machiavelli said, men are moved by two principal things, love and fear. So learn to alternate between both, reward and withdrawal, warmth and coldness, just enough to keep them uncertain, just enough to make your approval their addiction. Because influence isn't about control in the moment, it's about conditioning for the future. A single phrase, a single gesture can live rent-free in someone's mind for years. You don't need to repeat yourself when the echo does it for you. Be patient. True influence grows slowly, like poison in honey. Sweet on the surface, lethal underneath. By the time they realize it, their choices will already align with your will. Comment this and claim your mastery. I don't persuade. I engineer belief. Detachment is not weakness. It's the purest form of strength. The world teaches you to care too much about people, outcomes, opinions. But the one who feels less controls more. Because when nothing owns your emotions, nothing can own you. You must understand, attachment is the enemy of clarity. It blinds you with hope, clouds your judgment with fear, and traps you in cycles of reaction. But detachment? It turns chaos into calculation. It allows you to see people not as you wish they were, but as they truly are. Detach from approval. The crowd's praise is a drug. They give it to you to tame you. Smile when you're applauded, but never inhale it. For the same mouths that cheer you today will curse you tomorrow. And the man addicted to validation becomes a slave to it. Detach from outcome. Plan your move, execute with precision, then release it completely. What happens next is not emotion, it's data. You adapt, you refine, you advance. No loss breaks you, no victory blinds you. You remain untouchable because your power isn't in results, it's in response. Detach from people too. Yes, even those close to you. Care with reason, not dependency. Affection is noble, but obsession is weakness. Give loyalty, but keep sovereignty. Let no one's chaos infect your discipline, because when you need nothing from anyone, you move through the world like a ghost, present, aware, unshakable. Machiavelli understood this. He who depends on others to stand will crawl the moment they move. So rely only on your composure. Feel deeply, but decide coldly. Love, but never lose yourself in it. Grieve, but never crumble from it. You are the observer of your own emotion, not the victim of it. Detachment doesn't make you heartless. It makes you sovereign. You see the board clearly. You anticipate without attachment.